About a month or so ago, my mom and I saw Ant-Man and the Wasp, the latest film in the Marvel Cinematic Universe as I am uploading this video. And I was not able to enjoy that film as I fully intended to because there were a couple people in the auditorium that were displaying rude behavior. Do you remember at the beginning of any screening where there is a constant reminder to have your phone silenced and to be quiet while the film is screening? Well, I have had some occurrences lately where people weren't following those simple guidelines and it's starting to piss me off. Which is why I am making this video, because my experience with Ant-Man and the Wasp is not the only time this year that I've had some frustration while being in the theater. I love going to the movie theater whenever I can, and that's because I enjoy relaxing and watching a film on the big screen, and what that film has to deliver to me. And then when I walk out, I might have an impression that might stick to me for a few days, which has happened before. I've been having some really shitty luck when it comes to going to the theaters this year. Now, there are a few films that I have seen where audiences were perfectly fine, and that's how I like it to be. The films that I have seen this year that I had zero issues with, as well as the audience being completely respectful, was Won't You Be My Neighbor, the Fred Rogers documentary, and 2001 A Space Odyssey, which I've seen recently thanks to the special screens it got around where I live. So what happened with my experience of Ant-Man and the Wasp? There was a guy at the back left of the auditorium that was making little reactions like, uh-oh, ooh, and ha 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 ha, which the laughing's warranted in this case. To be honest, I wouldn't mind if this guy was going, uh-oh, if everyone else was gasping out of shock. But he was the only guy that was going, uh-oh, over something, and it was driving me nuts. However, the guy at the back left of the auditorium was not the only one being distracting. There was a heavy-set lady sitting one row behind me at my 5 o'clock that was also making little comments as well, like, uh-oh, oh, that's trippy, and, oh, shit. I almost snapped. I was this close of getting up from my seat, turning around and facing her with an angry face, saying, how about seeing some opera? You're being distracting. But you want to know something? I would add to that distraction if I did that, so I at least kept my cool, but I was getting pissed. Now, why couldn't I just go to the guest reception and request somebody to be in the auditorium and find out who the hell is talking during the screening? You know, I didn't see the point. Because there are audience members that will do this shit over a film that's really popular. And I already came up with a solution while this is going on. I'm just going to go see films that most people probably won't give a shit about. That are good! It's not rocket science. Any film that is designed to appeal to the masses is bound to bring some immature people into the theater and pull this annoying shit that infuriates me to no end. And the same applies to anyone that brings their fucking phone out during a screening, because when I saw The Incredibles 2 with my mom, sometime in the middle of the film, there was some young lady that pulled her phone out and started taking selfies of herself. Why? Why during a screening? Couldn't you do that shit before the film even started? So I actually went out the auditorium, missed about 2 minutes of the film, and told someone at guest reception to please come to this auditorium and please talk to this young lady that had her phone out. And also I was out of sight so she wouldn't suspect that I ratted out on her. Another thing that's starting to irritate me that I don't understand the logic behind is people laughing inappropriately at scenes that were not designed to be funny. When I saw Black Panther earlier this year, there was a scene where Klaus shot some guy in a museum and it was sort of played as a joke. And I didn't find it funny. And there were some people laughing. Some guy just got shot dead. That's not funny. And the reason why I'm seeking out films that are potentially great but not many people are going to give a shit about is because of my own experiences with 2 previous films that not many people have seen but I thought were fantastic. Kubo and the Two Strings back in 2016, and Blade Runner 2049. Not many people went and saw those films. I saw them, and they were great. Also, no one had their phones out, and no one was talking. Perfect! And that is why I am seeking out one film for the rest of the year, which is the remake of Suspiria. I suspect not many people are going to see this because they're probably going to be too sensitive to go see this for some bullshit reason. It's directed by Luca Guadagnino. It's got Dakota Johnson, who unfortunately was in 50 Shades of Grey, and Tilda Swinton. Oh, and the music's done by Tom York of Radiohead fame. Although that's not the biggest reason why I am seeing the film. I saw the trailer. I was creeped out. I thought, this has potential to be a great modern horror film, something that I don't say very often. I do look forward to reviewing the remake of Suspiria, and hopefully my experience of Suspiria will be worthwhile. And yes, I will review the original Suspiria film sometime before I review the remake. To anyone that goes to the theaters and respects everyone around you by having your phone off, maybe a few laughs, maybe a few whispers, if you're talking to someone very quietly, thank you for following simple guidelines. But to those people that have their phones out or making little comments, please, don't be a jackass. Don't be a douche. Don't be such an obnoxious bitch. Just follow the simple guidelines that the theaters remind you every single time you go to the theater. Turn your phone off. Please be quiet. It's not that hard. It's easy to follow. And that's all I gotta say.